A very good morning to all of you, class 7th B. Welcome to the biology class, children. And today we are going to start with excretion in animals, page number 129. Please open to page number 129. Excretion in animals. So children, as I have already told you in the previous classes, in the initial classes, that along with the transportation of the useful material, that is the oxygen, that is the food and all, the transportation of the waste material from the body is also required, and it is very, very important. If these materials, they keep lying in our body, they can cause toxicity. They can be toxic. That means they can be poisonous, and later they can cause problem. Fine. So that is why it is important that we need to remove these waste products, and the removal of the waste products from the body is called excretion. Is that clear, everyone? Now,
Yes, ma'am.
yes. Now, understanding the thing, we also need to know that as each and every cell requires the oxygens. Yes, we have already talked about it, that each and every cell requires oxygen. Each and every cell requires the food for the proper functioning. Yes, the same way each and every cell of the body, it produces the waste material which is collected by the blood, and it has to be passed away, it has to move away from the body of the living organism. Yes, so this is very, very important. Now the same way as we talked about earlier, now we'll be talking about the excretion in detail, that there are different excretory material that needs to be moved out of the body. Like we have the first one, that is the carbon dioxide. It is removed as waste from the body through the lungs during exhalation. Now this is something very, very obvious and very common, that we know that when we take in oxygen, that is called inhalation. And the same way, continuously we give out the oxygen, we give out the carbon dioxide, sorry. This carbon dioxide needs to move out, which is collected from different body part, and now it needs to move out through the it gets collected from the through the nose, it moves out. So this is important, the removal of the carbon dioxide from the human beings. So it is removed as a waste from the lungs during exhalation. That means during the breathing process, inhalation and exhalation take side by side. Next, we have stools or feces. Now, stool or feces, this is the solid waste which is removed out time to time from the human body. Now, it is very important for us to move out. As I have already told you when I was giving you the introduction, I told you that it is important for us to remove the solid waste out of the body. Whatever food we eat, in digestion we have already studied that whatever food we eat, it's not necessary that all of the food is utilized by the body. Some remains undigested, some remains unutilized by the body, and its removal is important. So this solid waste which is given out of the body is in the form of stool or in the form of feces. Okay, so which process consisted of which process included this? Can anyone tell me when we talked about the digestion process?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it? If we talk about the digestion, there were different processes included in digestion. So what about which process was the last one which
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
egestion.
egestion. Ma'am,
digestion?
egestion.
Correct.
Egestion.
Then next is the sweat. Now sweat, children, sweat moves means the removal of the watery liquid, you can say. Like we see transpiration in plants, the same way the sum of the waste products from our body, they are removed out through the sweat, pasina. Yes, and that is why sometimes, and yes, some salts also, the salts, they are also removed out, and some other waste products also, they are removed out from the with the around along with the sweat. And how does it come out? We find small openings, small pores in on our skin, and these pores, they help in the removal of these waste material. Is that clear? I'll just read it out for you. And we know that the water kept in a earthen pot, मटका होता है ना मिट्टी का. Yes, so what happens is cooler. This is because water keeps evaporating. Yes, so the same way when water moves out, our body also remains cooler from the pot, which causes cooling. Similarly, we sweat on a hot summer day. When we sweat, it helps to cool our body. Yes, When we sweat, it helps to cool our body. Our skin has very tiny sweat glands. Pause. Sweat glands through with and they open outside through the tiny pores. They collect waste like water, urea, and salts. Water, urea, and salts in the form of sweat and excrete them. So it's not only that through you see that only through the anus excretion process is taking place. Now we know that exhalation process, the removal of the carbon dioxide, excretion, though it does not form a part of the excretory system, but now we know that the removal of any excretory product from the body is excretion. So the removal of carbon dioxide, removal of feces, removal of the stools, removal of the sweat, that means the sweat you along with the urea, the water, yes, and the salts, when they move out, that is also called the excretion process. Now just have a look in the diagram which is given, children, on again page number 129. Just look at it carefully. Now you can see, just see that sweat gland. Can you see the sweat gland? Leave the rest of it. Just see the sweat gland and you can see the hair. Now these hair, children, which you can see in the diagram, these hair, these are the ones which we see on our skin. If you have a look at your hand, just look at your hand. Do you see tiny hair like structures? And these are the hairs which are present in the skin. And we see the sweat gland which is present a little below in the under the skin, and this sweat gland, it produces the sweat that also consists of the salt and the urea. Fine, children, any problem till here? No.
No,
Next.
ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, then mammals like such as dogs and cats sweat from their snouts and the pads on their paws. Horses sweat from their armpits. So this is about different animals, how do they keep sweating and then they keep themselves cool. Now, next is nitrogen containing waste. So we talked about the carbon dioxide, we talked about the stool or feces, we talked about the sweat, and now we are going to talk about the nitrogen containing waste. Now, Asham, you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am, I want to ask a question.
Yes.
Ma'am, what is armpits?
Armpit here, your arm, and here you have the pit. That is the armpit. Now, nitrogen containing waste. These are formed by the liver to take care of toxic products formed on the breaking down of the proteins by the cell. So, the way in which the chemicals are removed from the body of an animal depends on the availability of water. Now, this nitrogen containing, yes, Eram,
Ma'am, what is the meaning of snouts?
these in the dogs and in other animals. Okay.
Ma'am, I
Next.
can't see you.
Okay, you can't see me. These nose-like structures, snouts. Then, these are formed by the liver to take care of the toxic products. Now, there are, as I told you, that the toxic products are released. So they are taken care by the liver. The liver, it takes care of it on the breaking down of the protein by the cell. When the protein break down, the nitrogen is waste. We also take protein, we take carbohydrate, protein, vitamins. Yes. So when we take the proteins and they are break down in our body, then nitrogenous products are formed. So now how these are released out, it depends upon where the animal is living. Like aquatic animal, like fishes, and they excrete cell waste containing nitrogen in gaseous form, that is ammonia, which dissolves in water. Now, of course, you know that this fish are present in water. Yes, so
Yes,
they are going to produce the waste, nitrogenous waste in the form of in the gaseous form, which is ammonia. Yes, and it gets dissolved in water, and this is how it is removed out. So it is dissolved in water and it is given out. Some land animals like birds, lizards, snakes, etc. Children, these excrete a semi-solid. It's not a pure solid, but semi-solid white compound, which is uric acid. The major nitrogen containing excreted product in humans is urea, and it is removed by the urine. So you understand that in fishes it is removed out in the form of ammonia gas, children, which gets dissolved in water. As you know that these are present in water, so it gets dissolved in water. Similarly, there are some other land animals, there are some like birds, etc. and lizards and all, they give out a semi-solid compound which is white compound which is uric acid. And the same way, if we talk about ourselves, we have to go to the toilet time to time, we need to go to the washroom time to time, and this is how we pass on the liquid waste, that is the urea, in the form of what? Urine. Any problem?
No, ma'am. No.
Now see,
No, ma'am.
okay. Now see, we keep drinking water. Yes, we need to drink water, a lot of water, and we keep drinking water, and at the same way, children, we also pass on urine. So along with the urine, urea is passed out of our body. Similarly, the undigested food that we talk about, the undigested food is passed out through the anus after digestion process is completed, that in the form of feces and stools. Clear? Now we talk about the excretory system in humans. Human beings have some excretory organs like sweat glands under the skin for the excreting the liquid waste. The
Excuse
anus.
me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, ma'am, we have done this. Ma'am, we have done this.
Ma'am, we have explained this also.
Okay. I've already explained this. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then just wait. Then have we talked about the excretion in plants also?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, fine. Now just nobody's going to leave the call because I just want to take a small revision so that you understand what type of questions you'll be getting in your test. Yes, Prakhar, you want to say something?
Ma'am, I want to say that only.
Yes?
Ma'am, I want to say that only that you have completed the chapter.
Fine. Okay, so Asham,
Yes, ma'am.
yes. The tissue that conducts food in the plants is called
Ma'am, vascular tissue.
both are vascular tissues.
Ma'am, xylem.
Xylem conducts food
Ma'am.
in plants. Huh? Okay. Karthik, is it correct?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Xylem contains food in plants. Huh?
Ma'am, water.
I'm talking about food, Myra.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Xylem conducts food in plants.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.